Hi guys, I received a question from a woman. Yes, this was yesterday, and she wanted to know, how does somebody develop or grow, I don't remember the exact phrasing, in sexuality. This is the very work that I do, so I said I would do a video to explain this. So here is the video. There are four, let's say, planes or stages on which I work. And I will first list them, and then I will speak a little bit about each one. Number one, mentality. Number two, erotic intelligence / emotions. Number three, communication and expression. And number four, practices and body work. So I'm going to take it now one by one. The first of all, mentality. It all starts from our definitions, from our concepts, from our perspectives, from our views, our level of understanding everything. This is what guides us. And this is going to sound like a very awful association, but in Romania we have the saying, the fish rots from the head. So if something goes bad, that means it's bad in the head first and foremost, and then it goes bad on the other levels as well. So if you want to grow in your sexuality, you definitely start with your mentality, definitions, perspectives, anything that is on the conceptual plane, on the mental plane, anything that, even though we are emotional beings, it's still our head that guides us. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. It doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It means that this is a higher plane than your heart. Even though your heart is much stronger, it needs a guide, and this is your guide. So when I talk about mentality and definitions in sexuality, I'm mostly thinking or referring to, well, first of all, the beliefs that you have. And you may not be aware of them. And those beliefs are obviously much more easier to understand and to see in your situations, especially in recurring situations. Sometimes just through conversation, and that's what coaching is for. Basically, the coach is there to help you see your blind spots. And that's why it's always good to have somebody who's neutral to you, so they weren't in your life until that point, and they can really facilitate a neutral process for you to see your blind spots and to become more aware, to bring more clarity on what your beliefs might be, your definitions, your conceptions. And all of these translate, because make no mistake, everything that you think has a way to become palpable and concrete in your life. The things that you do, the things that you don't do, the people that you interact with, the people that trigger you, the people that help you grow, how you're triggered, how you grow, and so on. So everything is an indicator of beliefs in the background. And this is how you begin, in my opinion, with your mindset. Secondly, I go for erotic intelligence, and essentially the erotic means your internal universe, your aspirations, hopes, wishes, and emotions. Emotion is the biggest aphrodisiac. And the most powerful one, the most potent one, as I said earlier, emotions, your heart, is much, much stronger than your mind. And I think at the Heart Math Institute, they even proved this, that the magnetic field that they measured in our hearts is 1,000 times stronger, so more potent, than the magnetic field of our brains. Our brains may be smart, but our hearts are stronger. And emotional intelligence or erotic intelligence is, to me, the way I see it and the way I facilitate it, identifying which emotions are embedded in your erotic expression, which emotions help you define yourself, even if you're not consciously aware of this, in your erotic personality, which emotions guide you, which emotions arouse you, and how, in which conditions they arouse you, because remember this, no human being responds with erotic arousal to the same trigger throughout their lives. We change, we learn, we grow, we jump from one emotion to another. We're not volatile. We're fluid beings. We're not just, one thing, one track emotion, one track arousal and everything. We're more complex. And the more we learn about ourselves, the more we expose ourselves also to various interactions within safe conditions for us. So when I talk about exposure, I mean interaction with various situations, people, hopefully as different as possible from ourselves. Then we uncover more and more about our erotic blueprints, let's say, in our erotic build. So emotional aphrodisiac build. The third one, the communication and expression. Well, this has to do a lot with our ability to express ourselves through sounds, first of all, then in words, our ability to say what we want and what we don't want, our ability to say that in a pleasant way, so not necessarily one that will destroy somebody else, our ability to receive and understand the person next to us. So communication and expression are much more than just saying what you want and expecting that you get it. Communication is a two-way street, or depending on how many people there are in the interaction, an all-way street. And yeah, it's more complex than just, I want this, give me this, don't do this. So it resides really in your personality also, because everybody communicates differently. It resides in your ability to, how do I say this, channel the messages, and your courage to really stand up to them and to say them from places of vulnerability, which are the toughest places to be in for everybody in an intimate relationship. And then also communication resides in listening. There's that old saying, we have one mouth and two ears. We should give more time to listen than to speak. And I know that some people advise this in relationships. Instead of asking their partners, we gotta talk, they propose that the two people use the phrasing, we gotta listen, as a code for, I'm here, I want to know what's up, I'm here to hear everything out, process it, sit with it, so not necessarily speak, but hear. We got to listen. How about that? And the fourth one, practices in body work. Our sexuality is everything, actually, in life, is embodied, is lived, is experienced through our body. This is our vehicle through which we live our lives. We can't, I put it last, but it's certainly not least. We can't ignore it, we can't exclude it, and we can't overemphasize this either. Simply because, a body without reason, a body without heart, a body without communication, what is that? That it's incomplete. So body work and practices are here to, from my perspective, to be aligned with the way you think, your mindset, the way you feel, your erotic intelligence, the way you express and you communicate. So it has to be in alignment. Otherwise, something's wrong there, something's off. And when I talk about practices, I'm talking about practices that, first of all, you can do on your own, and then practices that you can do with your partners. So whenever I have somebody coming to me for sexual growth, there are some practices that I can do as a coach with them in a session. And then there are other practices that they need to do with their lovers, obviously. A coach is not your lover. I know you guys know this, but I still feel the need to stress this one out. So that's pretty much like superficially, let's say, what sexual development is about. More about these in some of my classes. One of them, Roadmap to Sexual Development, that's my UDEMY class, which contains not just theoretical explanations, but also bodywork practices that I teach as a coach as much as I can in an online training. And also some difficult scenarios in sexuality, which are essentially about mindset, communication, your own values, how do you position yourself in certain situations, and so on. So that's when you go to any kind of facilitator, whether it's a therapist, a coach, a counselor for sexuality development, they should consider these 4 aspects. Some might consider also a 5th, which is a more subtle one, and it's pretty much in tune with what I posted earlier today, the message about the Mary Magdalene and the Rose teachings. But that's not for everybody. So that's the unseen, sacred, spiritual, subtle aspect of everything. That's for the people who believe that we are more than just a body with a brain, with emotions, and with senses. And some people can approach this aspect of sexuality, others don't. I haven't really opened up too much on my channel about this. Rest assured, it's important to me. It's in my erotic build also. And this is one of the reasons for which I spend a lot of time without partners, because it's not exactly common to find men who relate to this also. So yeah, this is also a 5th plane. I don't necessarily feel yet to bring this into my work. So I stick to the very pragmatic, grounded, earthy, rooted, palpable, concrete aspects. But there is this 5th sense, well, 6th sense, let's say, the equivalent of the 6th sense, that I'm aware of. And at least to me personally, this is also very important. So I hope this answers this. I managed to speak even longer. I hope you stay with me, at least the woman that asked this question, and let me know what you think. And also, if you have other questions, I would love to hear them out, and I'd love to answer them. Because, in a home lockdown, I can explore many things, and I'm enjoying the interactions that I have with you through these videos and through the messages that you guys are sending. So, you guys and girls, I love those too. So I'll see you tomorrow, and yeah, let me know what you think of this video. If it helps, if not, bye.